Hello, you motorcycle enthusiasts. Today, we're going to install the carburetor of the Kawasaki EN500 together. As always, I'll show you how to do it using one chamber. The other one is built identically, so you can handle that on your own. In case you're wondering, on the EN500, there's a chrome cover above the diaphragm, but in this video, you'll see a black cover. The carburetor shown in the video is from a GBZ500, but it's constructed exactly the same overall. That's why you're seeing this video now. Of course, I've listed the appropriate materials, repair kits, and so on for you in the video description. Specifically for the EN500. Before we get started, let's first take a look at what tools we'll need. You'll need a Phillips screwdriver in size PH2. You'll need various flathead screwdrivers, a small but powerful flashlight, needle nose pliers, an open-end ring spanner in size 12 mm, an open-end ring spanner in size 8 mm, and a thin fuel hose. And of course, we've already set out a proper repair kit here. One more important note, please make sure to take a quick look at the video description. If I forget to mention something or if any additional information about your carburetor comes up later, I can add it there. You'll also find in the video description an email address for a professional to whom you can send your carburetor for ultrasonic cleaning. Another question that often comes up, does the carburetor guy actually make any money from this? That's the cool part, if you buy the repair kits using the affiliate links in the video description. You're supporting our channel's maintenance and growth, plus a shop with fast shipping and fantastic reviews. Before we really get started, let's check a few things, and we'll begin here with this small pressed-in brass jet. This jet supplies fuel to the choke. I'll take this thin fuel hose now, put it on here, and blow through it. You can clearly hear whether there's a passage. But it's very important. Take a look, please. Down there, there's a small opening, right there. You need to cover that up while doing this. And that's exactly what I'm going to do now. Great, so you can clearly hear that there's a passage there. And for the second check, we'll need the small, powerful flashlight. Up here at the front of the carburetor, there are two air jets. One of them supplies air for the premixing at the nozzle holder of the main jet, and the other is for the idle system. Now, if I want to look into this channel here, where the nozzle holder of the main jet is mounted, and up front, yes, you can see it perfectly. Do you see the light shining through that jet? And now I move on and want to look in here, where the idle jet sits, and then you can see it. Fantastic. You can really see it. Do you see the light shining in this left air jet? Please check that, then you'll know that it's clear and working properly there, and then we can start with the assembly. Alright, let's get started. First, I sprayed all the assembly openings and the inlet part of the float needle valve with silicone spray. That way, everything slides smoothly during assembly. And we'll start here with the nozzle holder of the main jet. But before that goes in, the atomizer head needs to go in here first. We took that out at the very end during disassembly, and you need to be careful here. Take a look, it has a deeper spot here and a closed side. The closed side should be facing you, so when you drop it in, the open side goes downwards. So, I'll drop it in here, and then the nozzle holder goes in right after. You'll need an 8 mm open end or box wrench for this. Please be careful when tightening. It's a soft material, a small thread, so don't overdo it. And the main jet goes in here. Our repair kit included a new one, so I'll screw that in now as well. Same deal here. Please be careful, don't use too much force. It's a small thread, soft material, so go easy. The nozzle holder is in, the main jet is in. Now, next to it, in this mounting opening, in this slightly deeper shaft, goes the idle jet. There's a new one for this in the repair kit as well. That goes in here. Please use a properly fitting screwdriver here too. Not too small, otherwise you can easily damage the small slot in the brass. And don't over-tighten it either. Screw it in, and then you've installed the main jet with the jet holder and the idle jet. Next, we'll install the idle mixture screw. This is what it looks like assembled, and this here is the old one. So this is the correct assembly order. I've laid it out for you again, including the screw itself. A spring sits on top of it, then comes a small steel washer, and then an O-ring. This is what it looks like when assembled. Now let's take a look over here. This gets installed in this channel, and to make sure the washer and O-ring don't accidentally fall off and get stuck, I always position the carburetor like this for assembly, so I can install it horizontally. You need to screw this in all the way until it stops, but be very, very careful when you reach the stop here. So take it easy. If the tip breaks off, we've got a big problem. Screw it in until it stops, and then back it out the correct number of turns for the basic setting. As always, I'll write that in the video description for you. In the next step, the float goes back in. Here in my hand, I have the float needle valve. And the float needle valve hangs on this little metal tab on the float. That means you have to thread the wire bracket through here. It's really tight here, but it just fits. And then onto here. So the valve, the needle valve itself, has to hang from the float. And now you carefully thread it into the inlet part here. That's this brass part down here. A. So, hold it in position with your hand, and now the little pin goes through here to hold everything in place. It should go in easily. If it doesn't, just sand the pin a little bit more. I'll also write the float level, as always, in the video description. The pin just needs to sit lightly. I'll show you. If you look in here, into the float chamber in the lid, there are these two stops, and these two stops make sure that the pin can't slide out. Yes, we're done on this side. I've already put a new gasket in the float chamber lid here. When installing the gasket, please make sure that there's a short side before the slant here, and a long side here. The gasket is pre-shaped to fit, so please lay it flat on the table once and check how it should go in here. Sometimes it happens that the gasket sits in there pretty loosely and falls out, like in this case. And what I simply do is just hold it in position. Now I actually have it the wrong way around myself, one side flipped over. There, now it's sitting properly. I just hold it in position here, then simply turn the carburetor over and set it on top. So, and if you hold it in place a bit, you can flip it back over and it won't slip out of place. And now the 4 screws go back in here. I'll just show you how it's done. So here, 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 and here. Now screw them in, tighten them, and then we'll move on to the top side. Let's continue with the slide. For the slide, please check the diaphragm again. Hold it up to the light to look for any cracks. The part load needle goes into the slide. A new one was also included in the repair kit. You have a hole in the middle and one on the side here. The part load needle belongs in the center hole. And then the part load needle is held in place by this plastic element, which in turn is held by the spring. And I always do it like this. I carefully insert it here with the spring already in place. This keeps the needle in position so it can't come out upwards. And then you can already insert the slide from above here. It only fits into the housing in one direction. While doing this, you see, I'll turn it over. You need to look underneath a bit and make sure the part load needle slides into the atomizer head. There we go, snap. Please make sure that the edge of the diaphragm sits in the groove of the carburetor housing. That's how it should look. If that's the case, then put the cover on. The cover has a tab inside here. This tab goes onto the spring and holds the spring in place so it doesn't slip. Put the cover on, and then there are 1, 2, 3, 4 Phillips screws again. Screw them in and then tighten them. And then we continue with the jog. Alright friends, last step. The choke needs to be reinstalled. I sprayed the choke plunger with silicone spray and also sprayed a bit in here. You insert it straight in here and then you have to screw the fitting back on. Sometimes it's a bit tricky to get it started. There's a small spring inside that basically returns it to the 0 position by itself. Alright, now we've got it tightened. Just tighten it a little bit more with the open end wrench here. It shouldn't be too tight, since it's just a plastic thread. And now the choke slider needs to go back on. This is it here, the actuator. Here we have these 4 plastic washers. 2 of them go under these screw points here. So, here and here. And now, please remember the spring as well. The spring gets hooked in here. There's an opening for it right here. Wait, sorry, I don't need to touch that. There's a little mark there. That's where it goes. The wire bracket needs to sit on top. Alright, sorry about that. That's how it should look. And on the carburetor itself, the spring, which is bent at the front here, goes over this spot right here. And if you hook it in like this right away, you won't have to mount the spring separately later. You won't have to install it again afterwards. Now the tricky part is that you basically have to thread it under these 2 stubs here. Thread it through. And while doing that, I'll show it here on the outside, onto the choke pistons here. That has to happen on both sides, and then this elongated hole basically needs to go on here so that I can move this. Now, a plastic washer goes on top here on each side so that everything can slide smoothly. And then these 2 screws are screwed in here, and with that, we're done. Please make sure to check your photos at the end to see if anything still needs to be attached, like these brackets for the sliding floor, for example. And then you're finished. I hope you enjoyed and found the video helpful. I'd appreciate a like and a subscription from you. If you have any questions, just write them in the comments. Until the next video, good luck with your project.